ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां षजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात् कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। 94th क्लास। वासुदेवेन्द्रयोगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
वासुदेवेन्द्रयोगीन्द्रं
नत्वा
ज्ञानप्रदं
गुरुम्
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते।
Is my voice clear to all of you?
Yes,
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
yes जी।
स्थूल शरीर अभिमानी
स्थूल शरीर अभिमानी
जीवनामकं
जीवनामकं
ब्रह्म प्रतिबिंबं भवति।
ब्रह्म प्रतिबिम्बं भवति।
प्रतिबिम्बं भवति।
स एव जीवः
स एव जीवः
प्रकृत्या
प्रकृत्या
तस्मात् ईश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति।
स्वस्मात् ईश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति।
अविद्या उपाधिसन् आत्मा
अविद्या उपाधिसन् आत्मा
जीवः इति उच्यते।
जीवः इति उच्यते।
माया उपाधिसन् आत्मा
माया उपाधिसन् आत्मा
ईश्वरः इति उच्यते।
ईश्वरः इति उच्यते।
एवं उपाधिभेदात्
एवं उपाधिभेदात्
जीवेश्वर भेद दृष्टिः
जीवेश्वर
जीवेश्वरभेददृष्टिः
भेददृष्टिः
यावत् पर्यन्तं तिष्ठति
यावत्
यावत्पर्यन्तं तिष्ठति
तिष्ठति
तावत् पर्यन्तं
तावत्पर्यन्तं
जन्म मरणादिरूप संसारः
जन्ममरणादिरूपसंसारः
न निवर्तते
न
न निवर्तते
निवर्तते
तस्मात् कारणात्
तस्मात् कारणात्
न जीवेश्वरयोगो
न जीवेश्वरयोः
भेदबुद्धिः स्वीकार्य
भेदबुद्धिः स्वीकार्य
that is the conclusion. Important arrival. भेदबुद्धिः न स्वीकार्य तयोगो जीवेश्वरयोगो भेदबुद्धिः न स्वीकार्य. If Veda Buddhi is what the Shastram teaches, if Veda Buddhi is the Tatparyam of the Shastra Pramanam, then our local barber Murari, he knows better than anybody else. One need not spend time and energy studying Shastram, need not attend class. Murari is, without studying, well informed. Without schooling, he has a knowledge. Veda Buddhihi. That is the story. That's the story, message the story conveys. Therefore, Veda Buddhi is the Buddhi naturally everybody has. For Veda Buddhi, for Dvaita Darshanam, one need not study anything. It is our perception. It is our Anubhava. Only for Abheda Buddhi, Advaita Darshanam, only for gaining Advaita Darshanam, Advaita Jnanam, Abheda Buddhi, we have to study. Because Shastram being a Pramanam, what Shastram says is different from, totally different from our perception. Our perception is Dvaitam, and the Tatparya of the Shastram is Advaitam. Therefore, our perception that Dvaita na svikarya, Abheda Buddhihi svikarya, Abheda Buddhihi as should be svikarya. Therefore, Shastram to be studied, to know or to have that Advaita Darshana. The vision, the Tatparyam of the Shastra is Advaitam Abheda Buddhihi. That being so, therefore only we have to study Shastra. Why? Because Shastram is a Pramanam. Then only Shastram can be said to be a Pramanam. Otherwise, it is not a Pramanam. If Shastram also teaches Veda Buddhi, then one need not study Shastram. It ceases to be a Pramanam. So Shastram becomes a Pramanam because what Shastram teaches is Abheda Buddhihi, Advaita Darshanam. And you cannot arrive at Ishvara by your Veda Buddhi. You cannot prove that Ishvara as a particular locus, particular location. You cannot prove that Ishvara is different from Jagat. You cannot prove it. In fact, you cannot prove Dvaitam at all. You cannot prove duality at all. Important statement. You cannot prove Dvaitam at all. The statement what I give, you cannot prove Dvaitam, duality at all. Even perception doesn't prove duality. How? I perceive Dvaitam in the Vyavahara. Subject object is there, therefore Dvaitam is there, you may say. But I say, no. That is, even in spite of that, I would say, you cannot prove Dvaitam. If you say there is duality because I see you, I the subject, and you is the object, therefore subject object between the being there, therefore duality, Dvaitam is there, you may say. But still I would say there is no Dvaitam. Your perception doesn't establish, doesn't prove Dvaitam. You need to understand that what we say, we don't say that there is Advaitam when you don't see a second thing at all. Advaitam doesn't mean that you don't perceive a second thing. In spite of perceiving a second thing, there is still Advaitam. That is what we say. I see you. Aham tvam pashyami. This is a fact. In spite of seeing you, or in spite of you seeing me, there is Advaitam only. It doesn't establish Dvaitam. How? I see you. It proves only one thing. What is that? I see you. That's all. It tells or it proves I see you. I, the subject, see you. That's all. It doesn't prove Dvaitam or Advaitam. Dvaitam or Advaitam is your conclusion. Dvaitam or Advaitam is your conclusion. The conclusion is because you are different from me, therefore I see you. That is a conclusion. Veda Buddhi, you are different from me. But is it the right conclusion? Is it the final conclusion? Is it a concluded conclusion? If it is a concluded conclusion, then it's a problem. If you conclude saying that I, the subject, see you and therefore you must be the object, if you conclude by this logic, then that's a problem. If you are open for discussion, then we can analyze. In spite of I seeing you, we can establish Advaitam. How? Let us take the Drishtanta. What Drishtanta? Swapna Drishtanta. Dream state. In dream, in Swapna Avastha, you see many things. You see many things in this Swapna Prapancha, in the dream world. The dream world, there are so many things, objects are there. And you see that you are present in the dream and you perceive it. Does it mean that Swapna Prapancha, the Swapna Jagat, is different from you? You, the dreamer, and the dreamt, the world, the Jagat, what you created in the dream, between them, is there any difference? Are they different? The dreamer and the dream world, are they different? The dreamer and the perception of the dreamer in the dream, that is the Swapna Prapancha, the Jagat, they are not different. Swapna Prapancha and the person, the dreamer, who created, for whom the dream is and who created the dream world, between him, the dreamer, and the Swapna Prapancha, is there any difference? No difference. The dreamer and the dream world are not different. The dream world cannot exist without the dreamer. It is a dreamer who projects the dream world. And in the dream world, he perceives objects and things. There is experience. There is subject-object experience. Does it prove Dvaitam or it proves Advaitam? In spite of having experience, in spite of experience being there in dream, does it prove Dvaitam or Advaitam? Therefore, experience, because experience is there, it doesn't prove Dvaitam. Dream experience denies the conclusion that the subject and the object should be different. Because I see it, therefore it should be different. That conclusion is denied by the beautiful Drishtanta, Swapna Drishtanta. You can project the same conclusion to the waking experience also. In the waking experience, the waker and the world, and the waking world, the waker experiences the waking world. Doesn't mean they are different. If it is different, then what about the dream experience? If the waking experience, between the waking experience and dream experience, is there any difference? Both being experience. Experience implies the presence of subject and object, which is there in both the dream and the waking. Does it prove Dvaitam? If it proves Dvaitam, then what about the dream? In dream, there is no Dvaitam. The same thing can be extended to the waking state also. Therefore, to say that Dvaitam is real because I see you is contradicted in the dream world. In the waking world, I see you, I the object see you, I the subject see you, you the object. That subject-object difference we bring in and conclude that Dvaitam is real. That is much very well contradicted in the dream. Therefore, to say Dvaitam is Satyam because there is the perception of difference between the subject and object is wrong. That is a wrong conclusion. Because we conclude, therefore the problem is. Because we conclude, therefore only Shastram has to interfere and say, no, that conclusion is wrong. Abheda buddhihi na svikarya. Therefore, for Abheda buddhi, there need not be the absence of the second object. In spite of second object, second thing being there, there is still Advaitam only. Because you see so many pots, ghataha, it doesn't mean Dvaitam. All that is there is only one mrit, one clay alone. From clay alone, all the pots of different sizes are made. Because the pots are many, it is in Bhagavachanam, Gataha, plural. The number doesn't prove duality. Not the varieties of pot, different sizes of the pot doesn't prove duality. It's all nothing but clay. In the dream, you have many and varied objects. There are sentient objects, there are insentient objects. And therefore, the perception of all of them in the dream is not different from the dreamer. Therefore, it proves what? Non-duality, Advaitam. You only in the form of the Swapna Prapancha is there. So between you and the Swapna Prapancha, there is no difference. Therefore, I would say the perception proves, like in the dream, that there is non-duality. There is Advaitam only. You said perception proves duality. I totally contradict with the Swapna Drishtanta and prove that perception proves non-duality. If your conclusion is that perception proves Dvaitam, that is dismissed by our own experience that perception proves Advaitam. This is because of this, the wrong conclusion we take for granted, and therefore we go by that idea. That is dismissed. Without much, need not trouble ourselves with too much inquiry. With simple Swapna Drishtanta, we can dismiss the idea of Dvaitam. And if this Dvaitam is the truth, further one has to study Shastram. You can imagine how much time and energy and what is the purpose of the Shastram then? All these are wasted. Our Shastram says all that is here is Ishvara. That is only Chaitanya. So therefore, every time you, the subject, perceive something, the object, where in Chaitanyam alone all the perception takes place. In Chaitanyam alone all the subject and the object resides. It only proves Advaitam, non-duality. The object, what you perceive, is a variable. It's a variable thing. It goes on changing. The subject also keeps on changing in keeping with the object. What I mean is, there is a seer and there is seen. Seer, the subject, and there are objects which are seen. Seer, seen, Veda is that. Similarly, eater, eaten, smeller, smelled, toucher, touched, taster, tasted. Both the subject and the object changes. Seer becomes eater, eater becomes smeller, toucher becomes taster. Similarly, the object seen, eaten, smelled, and touched, tasted. There are changing subject, changing objects, and all these have the same Adhisthana Chaitanyam. They are not different from that. That is Advaitam. Therefore, without Advaitam, there cannot be perception. In fact, you cannot prove Dvaitam at all by perception, because perception is there. Therefore, Dvaitam is dismissed. Therefore, any object you perceive, it cannot be away from you, the consciousness, the Chaitanyam. When you take you as an individual, you identify with a particular action, like the seer, like the eater, like the doer, smeller, taster. The subject, because plays different roles, you name, and therefore you say it is different. The subject is always Chaitanyam only. And the object also, it is always Chaitanyam only. Therefore, the object, what you perceive, the subject perceives the object, it cannot be away from Chaitanyam. It is, subject is Chaitanyam, object is also Chaitanyam. So how can you prove Dvaitam? Because perception is there. Subject is, object also is. Subject cannot be away from isness. Object also cannot be away from isness. Object could be a jada. The object could be a jada, but it is Chaitanyam which is the adhara even for the object. The subject is maybe Chaitana, Chaitanyam. Because the Antakaranam, the mind is there, where there is a manifestation of Chaitanyam, therefore is sentient. Object, a jada object, doesn't have Antakaranam, the mind, therefore doesn't manifest. Therefore, that you don't see the manifestation of Chaitanyam, but everything is Chaitanyam only. Therefore, when you don't do inquiry, avichara siddha, without inquiry, prakritya, by ignorance, if you conclude Veda is there, that Veda buddhi, that is a problem, that is the cause for samsara. So, prakritya Veda buddhi means no vichara, no inquiry, no analysis, no thinking. Avichara siddha, this is called avichara siddha. Conclusion with no inquiry, with no thinking. Only when there is no thinking, there only is duality. Therefore, you need sukshma buddhi. The buddhi has to be sukshma, it has to be subtle. Like Kathopanishad says, the buddhi has to be like the tikshna buddhi, sharp mind, to be able to appreciate the fact which is revealed by the Shastram, Advaitam. So that Sukshma Buddhi is required to analyze, to understand what the Shastram says. So therefore, if you really begin to inquire properly with the help of Shastra Pramanam, you will end up in Advaitam alone. Therefore, Tasmat Veda Buddhihi na Svikarya. Veda Buddhi is a cause of all our problems. It is samsara. Therefore, na Svikarya. Because it is the cause of samsara, therefore, na Svikarya should not entertain Veda Buddhi. Therefore, where is samsara? Where is this problem of samsara? The problem is not with the seen, not with the objects. The problem is not with the jagat. The problem is with the seer. The perceiver has got the problem because he has wrong understanding. Therefore, samsara is not outside. Samsara is inside. Oneself is the samsara. It causes samsara. Oneself becomes a cause for samsara. When one doesn't understand this, he's a samsari. So therefore, samsara doesn't have particular location, outside location. It is outside. No, it doesn't located doesn't have location in the external world. It is with oneself. And when jnanam takes place, that samsara, that avidya, which is a cause of samsara, it is knocked off. What is the cause for that samsara? Dvaita, avichara siddha dvaita buddhihi, jnanam. Therefore, that dvaita buddhi, the Veda buddhi, to be knocked off, to remove the problem, the avidya, which is the cause of samsara. Therefore, avidya being the cause, where this avidya is? Avidya is with a person, with a perceiver, not with the perceived. If a person has cataract in his eyes and not able to see the object, the person has problem in his eyes. Now he wants to see the object clearly. Will the increase in the brightness of the light, would it help the person to see the object? You improve the brightness of the room by increasing the illumining capacity of the bulb. Can the person having cataract see the objects, perceive the objects clearly? No. Any amount of increase in the brightness of the room by fixing more lights or improving the illumining capacity of the light cannot improve his sight, because yes, the problem, cataract is a problem. Therefore, problem is not outside. Problem is inside. So therefore, not understanding, we attribute the problems to the outside world. We don't realize that the problem actually lies within us. We attribute all the cause for all the problems to the external world. External world, the world is all right being what it is. There is no point in correcting or attacking the world. The world is all right because it is Ishvara Srishti. It is fine as it is now. What we need to do is we have to change our misconception. We have to correct our misconception. We have to change our thinking, change our perception, correct our misconception. How? By bringing in the right knowledge. That is what Vedanta says, as Pujya Swamiji puts it very nicely. Where is the problem? There is no problem. You are the problem. When you are the problem, where is the solution for the problem? The solution is not located in the world. Don't look for the solution. When you are the problem, don't look for the solution in the external world. Then where is the solution? You are the solution. So you are the problem. You are the solution. This is what Vedanta says. Therefore, if you see a distance, if you alienate yourself from Ishvara, is it the problem of you or is it the problem of Ishvara? Ishvara doesn't alienate you, doesn't doesn't create distance between him and you. It is you who created a distance. Therefore, you want to attain Ishvara. That's a problem. That is created by you. The distance, really speaking, there is no distance. One should never see a distance between oneself and Ishvara. Being Advaitam being Satyam, where is the distance, the gap, the bridge between Jiva and Ishvara? Because of Ajnanam, because of Avidya only the person sees the distance. The greater the perception of distance, the deeper will be the problems of samsara. So lesser the distance, lesser will be the problems of samsara. Distance, where the distance? The distance is only in our thought. There is no physical distance. When there is no distance, then samsara will disappear. This state of no distance, no gap, that is called aikyam. That is called oneness. When there is no distance between Jiva and Ishvara. What I mean by distance is not a physical distance. It's all mentally created by the avidya. That's the distance. When you understand that there is no distance, then that is aikyam. You don't have to reach Ishvara to become one with Ishvara. Ishvara being everywhere. Sarvam khalu idam brahma. Everything is Ishvara. What is here is Ishvara. Then you are also included in that. Therefore, there is aikyam. All the way it is aikyam. There is oneness. Because aikyam is there, therefore, the abeda buddhihi is satyam. Veda buddhihi na svikarya. Yatra yatra veda buddhihi tatra tatra samsaraha. Yatra aikya jnanam bhavati. Aveda buddhihi asti. Tatra samsaraha na bhavati. Samsaraha nivartate. Samsaraha kada na nivartate. Veda buddhihi asti chet na nivartate. Therefore, the Veda buddhi is nullified or dismissed by Aikya buddhi, Abeda buddhi. This is what the Acharya here says. Now, having listened to the Upadesha so far, now the student is raising an objection. This is a small text, Tattvabodha. That here also we have a Purvapakshi. Purvapakshi is the opponent. But here there is no opponent. Here there is only teacher and the student. The student has a doubt, therefore he raises an objection. The student doesn't contradict or dismiss the teacher's Upadesha. He has a doubt. And he wants to clarify his doubt, therefore he raises a question. That is the form of objection is given here. What is the objection raised by the student? And here you have to note this asking doubt, raising objection is welcomed in the study. All kinds of questions and objections are welcomed. Then only jnanam can take place. Without understanding, it is not just an idea or a theology which is just imposed on the mind of the student. It is not a theology. It is a vada, sambada. That is why we say it's a sambada. It's a dialogue. Dialogue between the teacher and the student. The student has Shraddha in the words of the teacher. Because he has Shraddha doesn't mean he should accept everything. He can raise objection. Because objection comes because of doubt. Samshaya asti. Samshaya nivrityartam eva this apeksha, this objection. So therefore, the student here raises a question or objection, you can say. What is that he says? He says, it's difficult to accept that one should not entertain Abeda Buddhi. One should entertain Abeda Buddhi. difficult to accept that one should entertain Abheda Buddhi. When the difference between Jiva and Ishvara is so clear for me, how can you say Veda Buddhi na svikarya? The student asked this question. For the student, there is clean perception of Veda between Jiva and Ishvara. And the teacher says Veda Buddhi na svikarya. Therefore, the student raises a question here. He will read that. Nano sahankarasya
Nanu sahankarasya
Sahankarasya
kinchit nyasya
Kinchitnyasya
jivasya
Jivasya
nirahankarasya
Nirahankarasya
sarvajnasya ishvarasya
Sarvajnasya Ishvarasya
Ishvarasya
tattvamasi
Tattvamasiti
mahavakyat
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 katham abheda buddhihi syat
Katham Abheda Buddhihi Syat
ubhayoho
Ubayoho
viruddha dharma krantatvat
Viruddha Dharma Krantatvat
iti chet.
Vidiche
Since both the Jiva and the Ishvara are endowed with opposite attributes, how can we understand from the Tattvamasi Mahavakya the non-difference of Jiva, who is a limited individual with a small knowledge, limited knowledge, and Ishvara, who is free from individuality and all knowledge? This is what the objection is. Jiva and Ishvara have opposite attributes. And Mahavakya, Tattvamasi Mahavakya, it equates Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva is a limited individual. He has got limited knowledge. Ishvara is not a limited individual and he has got all knowledge. How can both be same? That is the objection. Nanu. What is this Nanu? Nanu, the word you will see in the Bhashyam, the Upanishad, Gita Bhashyam and all we have seen. When there are discussions between the Purva Pakshi and the Siddhantin, you will come across the word Nanu. When there are discussions, Nanu indicates an objection. Sometimes Nanu can be used in the sense of emphasis, but here it indicates an objection. What is the objection? Objection is Jiva and Ishvara as opposite attributes. So there cannot be Abheda Buddhi between them. Therefore, Bheda Buddhi na svikarya iti yat uktam tat na yuktam. Because Jiva and Ishvara has got opposite attributes, therefore Bheda Buddhi only can be svikarya, not Abheda Buddhi. Therefore, what you said, Bheda Buddhi na svikarya, that is not proper. That is what the objection is. Now we have to little discuss on the attributes which the student has mentioned here, attributes of Jiva and Ishvara. What are the attributes of Jiva? Sahankarasya, that is one. What does it mean? Ahankarena sahavartate sahankaraha. The Jiva as an individual ego. Aham iti. He is conscious of it, but aham. So therefore he is sahankaraha. Ahankarena sahavartate. Ahankara means this abhimana, with the shariram. The Sharira Abhimanam, Sharira Sangata, Sharira Manas, Indriya Sangata, that Abhimanam, identification with this body. He is identified with this body only, single body, he has got only one body. one shariram only, one shariram, one mind. Is not identified with the other bodies. The other body identifies, that becomes mamakara. That is not ahankara, it is mamakara. So this ahankara, the limited I notion, which is spread up to the periphery of the body, that individuality, that is the main feature of jiva, main attribute of jiva. So therefore, one who is with a limited ego is called sahankaraha, ahankarena sahavartate. Therefore, only this individual ego has its own biography. Every jiva has own biography. From the childhood up to now, every jiva has got stories. Every jiva has got stories. Every how it has jiva has grown, how he has developed, what are the situations, the problems he has faced, every experience, biography is there. So one attribute sahankaraha, another attribute is kinchit jnaha. Kinchit jnaha. Being an ahankara, having ahankara, being an individual, jiva has got certain limitation with regard to the knowledge what he has. He is not all-knowing. He doesn't know everything. He is small-knowing, in fact. Kinchit jnaha. Kinchit means a little. Kinchit janati. Na sarvam janati. Sarvam janati sarvajnaha. That is Ishvaraha. Kinchit janati. Kinchit jnaha. Sarvam janati sarvajnaha. All knowledge. Who has got all knowledge? Bhagavan. Who has got some knowledge, a little knowledge, which is jiva. So when you compare with all knowledge, jiva's knowledge is nothing. Therefore, is kinchit jnaha. One word, samasa. Kinchit janati iti kinchit jnaha. Whereas Ishvara, who is the creator of this Jagat, he knows everything. Whereas Jiva, he doesn't know even himself properly. Does he know his Sharira, the body? Body has got so many parts. Does he have knowledge of all the parts of the body? Does he understand his mind? Does he understand the objects of the world? Even take one object. Does he understand completely? Suppose if the Jiva thinks, let me increase my knowledge. The Jiva then goes on knowing more and more about the object. The more and more he knows, the more and more study he does, he dig into the object, the more and more he finds that his ignorance is becoming bigger and bigger. He wants to have more knowledge. On the contrary, he finds that he is more and more ignorant. Ignorance increases. Knowledge doesn't increase. You cannot know a flower completely. A flower has got so many parts. A flower has got filaments, petals, stem. Each part is subject to study. It has got a separate branch of study. Each part can be studied. Research can be done. One can get PhD. One can do the study of petals and gets petalogy, something like that. You do PhD in that. The petals are also not same. Different petals, different colors. Why it is? One can do a research. That when you start doing research, you will find more and more knowledge is revealed, and you will find more and that lot of area to be yet to be exposed, yet to be known. So for a flower itself, for a simple flower itself, a jiva doesn't have a complete knowledge. What to talk about the knowledge of the organs of the shariram? What about the objects of the world? Even with regard to the organs of the body, there is no doctor who can treat all the organs of the body. No doctor knows completely, thoroughly about everything about the body, every organ about the body. For eyes, we have a specialist. For heart, there is a specialist. For kidney, there is a specialist. For lung, there is a specialist. General physicians only examines generally. If you have particular problem, then he will direct you to your specialist only. So every organ is the study of every organ is a different study, and one need to be specialized in that. And still research is going on, more and more knowledge yet to be revealed, yet to be gained. So that is why here it is said that Jiva has got limitations. He cannot know everything. He is kinchit nyaha. Buddhi has its limitation. This is the condition of Jiva. Now that Jiva is addressed. Tat tvam asi. Tvam tat asi. From you, the Jiva, with his ahankara, with his limited knowledge, is equated to Tat, Ishvara. What are the attributes of Ishvara? It's quite opposite to that of the Jiva. Ishvara is Nirahankaraha. He doesn't have this individuality or this ego. The whole Jagat is his Shariram. So, therefore, where is his ego? Where is the Ahankara? This Jagat is his Ahankara. If at all, if he has Ahankara, the Jagat also limitless. Jagat doesn't mean only the world. The galaxy, the cosmos, it keeps on increasing. You don't know the size of the galaxy. There is no size. We cannot talk about the size of the space. Everything is Ishvara. Where is Ahankara? Is everything. If Ishvara is everything, can he have ego? Ishvara doesn't have ego. Therefore, Nirahankaraha. Ego implies that you should be something. You should be special. Special means you are different from everybody else. Ishvara doesn't have that kind of notion or idea at all. Ishvara is Nirahankaraha, doesn't have Ahankara like that of a Jiva. And from Ishvara alone, everything has come. Therefore, Ishvara is everything. Therefore, there is no question of Ishvara having an ego. The whole universe is a Shariram. And with regard even to that, Ishvara has got no Abhimana, no identification. When Ishvara takes a Shariram as an avatara, Ishvara, he comes down to the Prithvi, taking a Sharira in the form of avatara. That avataranam, the descending also is not because of Punya Papa. Ishvara doesn't have Punyam, doesn't have Papa. Only Jiva has got Punya Papa. Therefore, only Jiva takes Janma in different wombs. Ishvara Janma is not because of Punya Papa. He willfully takes a Shariram. For what? For Loka Anugraha. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् आत्मानं सृजामि अहम्. For what? लोकसंग्रहार्थं. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां. साधूनां परित्राणाय दुष्कृतां विनाशाय अहं सृजामि इति. Therefore, Ishvara, even as an avatara, if it comes, that is for Loka Anugraha. Therefore, he doesn't have Ahankara or individuality. And Ishvara is Sarvajnaha, he is all-knowing. Because he is the cause of everything. Therefore, he must be all-knowledge, he must know everything. This being so, Jiva is Sahankaraha Kinchitnyaha, Ishvara is Nirahankaraha Sarvajnaha. Therefore, there is a Viruddha Dharma Akrantatvat. Viruddha Dharma, opposite attributes, qualities. Both of them have opposite qualities. Akranta means endowed with, being endowed with. Akrantatvat, Panchami Vibhakti. Viruddha Dharma Akrantatvat, Jiveshwara Yoho, जीवस्य साहंकारः किंचिज्ञः, ईश्वरस्य निरहंकारः सर्वज्ञः. So विरुद्ध धर्माः सन्ति. विरुद्ध धर्म आक्रांतत्वात्, because of being endowed with opposite dharma, the qualities, कथम अभेद बुद्धिः स्यात्. साहंकारस्य किंचिज्ञस्य जीवस्य, निरहंकारस्य सर्वज्ञस्य ईश्वरस्य अभेद बुद्धिः कथम स्यात्. How can there be oneness, अभेद बुद्धिः, oneness, ऐक्य बुद्धिः between the two? How will I able to understand the oneness? This is the question. Who said that there is oneness? Where do you find such teaching of oneness or Aveda Buddhi? The author says it is not my personal idea or my philosophy. It is the teacher, it is the teaching of the Shastra. Therefore, he quotes from the Chandogya Upanishad here, Tat Tvam Asi, Mahavakya, revealed by Chandogya Upanishad. There the word Tat referring to Ishvara, Tvam referring to Jiva, Asi is Aikya. Tat Ishvaraha, Tam Jivaha, Asi, Abedaha. That Ishvara is you, the Jiva. This is Mahavakyam. Mahavakyam means Vakyam which is great, great sentence. Great sentence not in terms of a long sentence, not in terms of the size. In fact, it is smallest Vakyam, Tat Tvam Asi, only 3 words. Therefore, it's a short sentence. But in terms of meaning, it is a great. Therefore, Mahavakyam. What is Mahavakyam? The Vakyam, the statement which reveals the identity between the Jiva and Ishvara. That is called Mahavakyam. Akhandartha Bodhaka Vakyam, Mahavakyam. Akhandartha. Akhandartha Bodhaka. The Bodhaka, the knowledge. The Vakyam which gives the knowledge of the oneness of Jiva and Ishvara. That is Mahavakyam. So, because of these different attributes the Ishvara and Jiva enjoys, therefore the student objects to the statement of the teacher, Katam Veda Buddhihi Syat, Katam Abeda Buddhihi Syat, Katam Veda Buddhihi na Svikarya iti yat tvaya uktam tat Katam Yuktam Bhavati. The student has got difficulty in understanding the teaching of the teacher. That is the understanding, difficulty in understanding the Mahavakyam, therefore he raises an objection. And to that the author will respond. Na iti. That we will see. We will see that in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद.
Anupama ji.
Yes, गुरुजी.